All right, I'm kind of scattered on this video this morning. I just made a video 2 days ago, so this is a quick turnaround. And I'm doing it because it's going to get hot outside. And I got some work out there to do, and I thought I'd do this first. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about is a couple things in spirituality. Is the concept of learning knowledge, spiritual knowledge, sometimes considered secret spiritual knowledge, the wisdom and knowledge that leads to enlightenment. And then there's another aspect that I wanted to cover, and that is the aspect of the opposing side of spirituality, the evil side of spirituality. So, to put things into proper perspective, there's the character in the Batman stories and movies of him being a young man and witnessing his parents being killed. And the perpetrator that pulled the trigger was just some random gunman. And then, of course, in the movies, they made that gunman into the Joker. But be that as it may, Bruce Wayne turned into Batman because of that situation. At no point in the future of that story, or should it be, given credit to the murderer for the result of Bruce Wayne turning into Batman. Bruce Wayne was Batman. And yes, it took, or we could say it required, a situation like that, or exactly that, to prompt him into becoming Batman. And yet never is there any appreciation for the evil person that murdered his parents. And like I said, nor should there be. That is the situation we are engulfed in this particular reality, at this particular time in our development. It is said by Jesus, and if you study ancient Hinduism, it's pretty damn clear in there also, that the situation we're under, according to Jesus, is that Satan is the god of this world, or this realm, or whatever the case may be. And him being a god, there's quite a bit of influence and power there. Just like the individual had the power over Bruce Wayne's parents because he had a gun. So we are beset with and confronted with evil all around us. And we need to maneuver through that evil everywhere. Now, we know that a gun is not in and of itself evil. I don't care what kind of a gun it is. It isn't evil. It can be used for good or bad. And so it comes down to the person or the individual and what they do and how they use those situations You could say the gun represents money in this reality. Now you can use money for good or evil. Granted, the vast majority of people use money for evil. And since the creator of money is Satan, it all flows in his direction, and he disseminates it to those who fulfill his desires. Which is why you see the vast majority of wealthy people and powerful people are evil. And so they're rewarded with wealth, power, and money in this reality. And so those that love God, those that possess a great love for the truth and for God, they're going to be constantly attacked supernaturally in this reality. That's just the way it is. Some people might not be attacked as much. Some of others attacked much more. What are you going to do when these situations arise? Because they will arise. They always arise. That is the point and purpose of this life in this reality at this time. We're not here to sit on the beaches sipping mint juleps and enjoying the weather, although we can do that a time or two now and then. That isn't the point or purpose of this reality. Nor is the point or purpose of this reality to be engulfed in spirituality, in bliss, and enjoying the blissful satisfaction of knowing what the truth is. That is reserved for another period, in another realm, in another situation, but not here and not at this time. Although people get distracted and think that's what they desire, and so that's what they pursue. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with pursuing love, bliss, and joy. But recognize it isn't going to happen unless you pursue the course of Satan, who will bless you with all those things. But those things are all temporary and will not last for all eternity. So that's one point and purpose I wanted to bring up. The next point and purpose I want to bring up has to do with studying about spirituality. I want you to know there's a concept, and I'm not going to relate it perfectly, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. Jesus taught the concept of if you should gain the riches of the world or gain the entire world, the wealth, the power, the authority, and lose your soul because of that, what a terrible loss. And it is of no value whatsoever when compared to the soul, the value of your soul. Because everything here is temporary, meaning the money, power, and wealth. If you convert that money, power, and wealth to knowledge, wisdom, the secret truths that lead to enlightenment, it's the same thing. If you gain all of that and lose your soul, what value is all that spiritual knowledge? And what I'm getting at is Satan, or Shiva, is the most knowledgeable and powerful of all here on this planet, in this realm. You're not going to exceed his power, knowledge, authority, bliss, comfort, wisdom, you're not going to exceed his. His is paramount here in this reality. So why are you pursuing after it? Now, I'm not trying to discourage seeking after knowledge, wisdom, and authority, or anything else that leads to enlightenment. I'm not trying to discourage that, but I want to put it in the proper perspective. If you convert all that knowledge, enlightenment, Buddha enlightenment, if you convert all of that into a gun, for instance, a weapon, and you're going to traverse the wild jungles with lions and everything, it's nice to have a gun to protect yourself. And the information and the knowledge and the wisdom you gain can be used to protect yourself against the temptations of Satan or that which leads to your downfall. So yes, it's good. But think about and keep in mind at all times, and I've said this before, that the love of God needs to be integrated into your heart and soul. Don't just pursue after knowledge and wisdom and spiritual knowledge and wisdom without including a constant and ever constant love of God, seeking after the knowledge and wisdom of Jesus, the Christ. That should be always paramount to anything else. But recognize in your life that you are at certain times going to be totally and utterly focused on seeking after enlightenment and knowledge and wisdom. No different than if you were in the 3rd grade seeking after whatever it is you're seeking after in 3rd grade, but ultimately you're going to become a scientist. And so whatever it is in the 3rd grade leads to you becoming a scientist. But your focus is not on being a scientist while you're in the 3rd grade. So yes, you might put in reserve the knowledge and wisdom or the understanding of who Jesus was, what his atonement meant, or even God. And it's possible that you are integrated into the spiritual concept of non-duality and you can't extricate yourself from that because you think it's true. That's fine, as long as you keep in the back of your mind that sometime in the future you're keeping the door open in your soul. You're keeping the door open to allow further light and knowledge and wisdom to enter, dealing with Christ, Jesus, Brahma. And then you don't have to worry about what your ultimate future outcome is. Just keep that in the back of your mind. And love. Always remember that love leads to understanding and discovering the nature of Brahma, the nature of Christ. And then I hope that maybe my next video I'll get back to talking about the path to enlightenment. I am realizing and have realized the immense difficulty that people have in becoming enlightened. As I've said before, I never consciously sought after enlightenment, nor did I seek after God enlightenment. Now I did subconsciously, but not consciously. I always wanted to know more and more and more. I always wanted to find out more truth. The concept of meditation, of samadhi, of the teachings of Jesus. I always wanted to know everything humanly possible to know, and even more than that. And I constantly prayed to understand spiritual truths. I didn't know what they would lead to. I was only drawn to it. And I was drawn to it because of the core essence of what's inside me. And I didn't even know what enlightenment meant. And yet I was seeking after enlightenment subconsciously. So my path is, no doubt, different than yours. But that doesn't mean I can't help you on that path. It's difficult for me to relate to what a normal human being feels and experiences. For me, I've told you the story of when I was probably 6 years old, and my soul, spirit, left my body when I was being beaten to death. And I witnessed the situation taking place from above the scene and watching my body being beaten to death while I'm screaming for the perpetrator to stop. And only after the brutal beating was over did my consciousness re-enter the human body. I suspect that's similar and along the same lines as people that might be in traumatic car wrecks or airplane crashes or what have you. Their consciousness, their soul, their essence of what they are leaves their body prior to the traumatic end of their life. And so as a 6-year-old, you internalize that as the years go by, as that is what's normal. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I realized that that wasn't normal. I just assumed my entire life up to that point that everybody was like me. I didn't know that they weren't. So I have a different perspective than everyone. When I would go to church or to meet in Sangha groups or whatever, and people are stuck upon the thing that, oh, don't identify with the body, don't identify. My thoughts were always, well, why would you? I mean, when I get in my pickup truck and start driving, I do not identify as a pickup truck. I'm the driver of the pickup truck. I'm not even the driver of the pickup truck. I'm the soul that's operating the body that's driving the pickup truck. I always knew that from 6 years old. And this is, think about in our society now, today, how fucked up it is, where people identify as black, They identify as white. They identify as homosexual. They identify as this, that, and everything else. It's so screwed up, it's unbelievable. All of this is an effort to inhibit your spiritual growth. It's in an effort for you to drag your soul back down to this spiritual or this carnal existence we are in, and to identify with the body, to try to drag you back. You see where I'm going with that? So anyways, in my next video, I hope to talk more about the path to spiritual enlightenment. And if there are any secrets, they're only secrets because it's difficult to understand. But that there are no actual secrets, that's a misunderstanding of reality. Jesus made it crystal clear, and you know what? Hinduism is the same way. Crystal clear. There are no secrets that will not be uncovered. There are no truths that cannot be known. Ask, and it will be given. Knock, and the door will open. Seek, and you will find, are the words of Jesus and many others. So, is it easy? No, it's not. It's not easy at all. But it's difficult for me to relate. And that is one of the reasons it's difficult to teach about spiritual enlightenment. Because the person that is or newly spiritually enlightened, they're in no position really to teach spirituality to anyone else. If they did, I suspect they would screw up really badly. Because they have enough to deal with having a new reality that they have to deal with. And it could take years before they are ready to help anyone else, spiritually speaking. And so that would explain why so few spiritual teachers exist on the planet at any given time that speak with authority, meaning they're describing something that they are and what they have, rather than what they've learned and what they've been taught. It's a extreme rarity to find that. But even if you do find it, I'm only telling you from my own experience. So I would guess that it's true for all human beings. That it is difficult to relate to what it used to be like prior to enlightenment. When you think about the few people that you can put your finger on and say, yeah, that person was definitely enlightened and they were a teacher. You could take the example of Jesus. And yet he had extreme difficulty in teaching. Yeah, he could teach, and many people paid attention because why wouldn't you if you're around a person that can raise the dead, heal the sick, perform miracles? Yeah, you're going to pay attention to something like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to understand or learn what they're teaching. And so you can take Buddha. He could not relay what he knew to, it's assumed, one person, became enlightened from what is written and known. Why not 10,000? Because it's extremely difficult to convey, because you can't convey. You cannot convey what you know. As I've said, I could be eating a lemon right now and feeling the taste of a lemon, and there's no way for me to convey that to you. You can look at the lemon, you can see it, and yet there's no way for you to understand the taste of the lemon that I am currently tasting. Spirituality of enlightenment and stuff, the knowledge and wisdom that leads to that, only goes so far, and then it hits a dead end. Just like the taste of a lemon can't be conveyed, there is no way to convey what enlightenment is. And then even beyond that, if you should ever get beyond that and grasp through the assistance of God the nature of Brahman, which is even vastly further than the concept of enlightenment, that's a quantum step beyond the taste of a lemon. We can talk about it, but recognize there's no way to convey it to you. You have to start putting things together. And might I suggest you pray every single day to God to help you become enlightened. And if you don't want to say become enlightened, help you to understand the spiritual things that are being talked about. So with that, I'm going to close, and probably won't make another video until next week, if I have time. I know I'm busy next week again. I haven't finished a table and chair yet for my granddaughter, but it's in the final phases, and now I just got to let it set for probably a few more days before I dare touch it. Not that it's fragile, but the finish is very fragile and it hardens over time. I think it's going to turn out really nice. And if I get it together, I'll put it in my next video. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I love you. I pray for you. I hope that you continue to spiritually grow. I hope that you can avoid trauma in your life, but at the same time, I know that it's going to happen. Nobody gets out of this life without dying. So, yeah, you signed up for this before you were born, by the way. All the horrible shit in your life, all the trauma, all these things, you signed up for it. But you think about it. This is how you signed up for it. It's like if you've never tasted a lemon and I'm eating it and I'm saying, oh my God, yeah, well, it's both good, but it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. Tart, it's very, the word sour isn't even a good word for it. And then you're listening to that and you're going, hey, yeah, I'm going to go to the store or the orchard and grab a lemon because I've never had one before. But because of what John is talking about, I want to have the taste of a lemon. So that's what I mean by you signed up for this before you were born. You saw the benefits. You saw other people talking about things, and you said, yeah, that's what I want. And then, of course, you get here, and most people say, yeah, that's not what I wanted. I wish you'd have made it a little more clear. This is a god-awful experience here. Of course, the god-awful experience is temporary. It doesn't last forever. Might last for 6 months, might last for 6 years, it might last for 60 years. But I can say it's worth it. That's what the last little thing I want to tell you, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to be prepared and stuff. But when I was, you know what? I'll save that for my next video. I'm going to close right now. I love you. Bye.